I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Bones Live, and today my guest is Simon, and he is from the band that we've been talking about a lot recently because their EP just came out Sunday, and this album is called, the EP is called The Mouth of Ghosts. Simon, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Very well, thank you. I'm good, and thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate this. So, first off, Simon, just because the name is so unique, and the question I had about it before you can give me an explanation for it is, did you pick it because, I mean, well, let's face it, the EP in itself is like really trippy, and it's got kind of that almost creepy feels to it. Now, I'm assuming The Mouth of Ghosts did that come with it, or did that come before the EP?
No, actually, it's a title of a song by a band called the Dillinger Escape Plan. I don't even know them.
Yes, I do actually.
Yeah. So when I started writing music and songs for the band didn't actually exist to me. It was me in a room, and so they had like all these kind of songs written, and then I was like, well, I should kind of try and release them or put them online or something like that. And of course, the first thing you have to do is get a band name.
Right.
And part of the kind of intention of starting a band was, there are like certain bands I like kind of quite heavy music, but there was this kind of heavy music kind of interspersed with kind of very sort of atmospheric, jazzy, trippy type sort of moments, and the idea was to kind of take those sort of moments and develop them into kind of cool songs. That was kind of part of the inspiration for it, but ultimately I just had to come up with something quite quickly and didn't really think much would come of it. Now I'm stuck with it, so but yeah, I guess it kind of fits, right? I guess it does kind of fit the style of the music a little bit, I guess.
Absolutely does. I mean, it's really one of those times where it's a perfect fit. And when I was doing my research, I saw the Dillinger Escape Plan come up, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I can kind of see this. Maybe there's a relation. Sometimes there's not. Sometimes, the band will say, like, oh, I knew about it, but that wasn't the point behind the title.
Not particularly, no. There's nothing predetermined or nothing planned. Just kind of felt that way.
Well, you know what? It couldn't have worked out any better for you. So, excuse me. I was reading on your bio that obviously you don't have to go into tons of detail, but that initially this was supposed to come out in 2013, but he had I guess call it a slew of problems that kind of held it back a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. We recorded it, crikey, like maybe a year ago, maybe a bit less than a year ago. And so the plan was to release it. So we recorded it originally, and then weren't massively happy with the way it kind of sounded, or we thought we could have sounded better. So we spent a few kind of months, and it's crazy how fast the time goes when you're sitting around listening to your own sort of songs time and time again. And of course, it makes it really hard to be happy with them all the time. So having sat down and listened to them for a couple of months, decided it wasn't kind of as good as I wanted it to be or thought it could be. So, excuse me. So we had them all remixed, and so that was kind of finished about 6 months ago. And then, to be honest, there's just been a number of kind of different things going on. It's just made it a bit difficult. So, we decided to, we sort of made it, so decided to release it. So here it is. But yeah, it's been a long time coming. Hopefully, if there's another one, it won't take quite so long.
Well, I mean, they always. Go ahead.
No, so I'm done.
Okay, sorry. All I was going to say is we're always our own worst critic, right? So it makes it a bit difficult in the songwriting process. Now, that leads into my next question. So as far as the songwriting process go, I mean, there's, there 3 or 4 of you?
In the band?
Yeah.
There's 5 of us.
5? Oh, okay. Because just in a little email I got from Kim, all I saw was the drummer and your singer.
Yeah, well, obviously Kim doesn't like me very much, so I must have said something unpleasant to her that day or something. She's coming from the PR, I think that's what it must be. There's 5 of us. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the songwriting process, it's quite different this EP from the one we did previously. The one we did previously actually was songs that were written before the band existed. It was just me, and I was doing it with working with someone else who would kind of work on sort of vocals. My female singing voice is particularly unpleasant, so and it was kind of like a home project. It was kind of me sat in the room I'm in now, which is in a small bedroom in London, just kind of bashing out songs and music. And we wrote a song called "When the Sun Sets," which was the kind of name of the first EP, and that did quite well and was quite, I guess, moderately successful. And so yeah, I mean, the songs were all the songs were kind of written by me, and the rest of the band really didn't have much of an input into them. Whereas this time around, kind of the band existed, so the writing was kind of shared around a bit. So there was Valerie, who was doing backing vocals and synthesizers and keyboards. She wrote 2 of the songs, which is "Wrong" and "Right on Time." Ala, who's our singer, wrote the final song, "You Will Go," and I wrote "Winter Song." So it was all kind of it was kind of a bit of a mix, and I think we were kind of all sort of better for it, to be honest.
Okay, I'm one of those things. I was just curious about how the arrangements went, because each band has their different songwriting process as to which works best for them. So it's always one of those questions. It's always a curiosity to me to see how the band comes together and creates this music, because you never know where it's coming from or how it's mixed, because a lot of times songs are written ahead of time. Obviously you sit down, you jam, you work on them for a little bit, and sometimes it may turn into something completely different.
We're not like a jamming band. We don't ever go to like our studio and just kind of come up with something together. It never seems to work like that, predominantly because I'm not very good at music. It takes me about 4 weeks and a lot of research on the internet to understand what goes with work. This time around, Ala's like a very accomplished songwriter and piano player. So, like "You Will Go," for example, started out as just a pure piano song. It was always intended to kind of be built on, but it kind of started like that. So, the original sound was kind of very pure and sparse, and then from there together we kind of added the guitars, the drum. There's a load of layers in that song. There's like, you can't necessarily hear it all. There's like 20 things going on at the same time. So we added we wrote the bass lines, the guitars, the drums, all the string parts as well, which are kind of very big in that song. And kind of really gave it this kind of big atmosphere and big sort of hit at the end. Well, that was certainly kind of what we were hoping for. But something like the songs I write, I tend to write the music like at home, or I'll do the guitars and the bass and the drums at home and some synths or some pianos or whatever. And I'll kind of make a song that has like no vocals, and I'll give it to Ala and just go, "Come up with some vocals." And I think she pretty much hates me for that.
So it's pretty much you write the music and go, "Here you go. Fix it."
Yes, exactly. And then we'll sit down together, and she'll come up with something, and then we'll sit down together and kind of work on it and revise it. Or again, she's good at coming up with the lyrics and the melodies and stuff. And we'll work on the lyrics a bit together. We'll go for a couple of different versions, and then like Valerie's songs, Valerie had them kind of written for a little while, so we just kind of we sort of took what was there and just kind of made it a bit more in the style of the band. So that was kind of a bit more sort of straightforward, really. It was just kind of making it a bit more, stylistically kind of what we do. So it was very different this time around. Obviously there's only 4 songs on the EP, but there were 3 very different writing kind of processes involved.
Well, like I said just before I got on the air, I really, really like this EP, and the thing that just sticks out the most is like it's got kind of that dark edge to it, but like I said, the vocals are just absolutely amazing to me. I that's what kind of drew me in initially. Wasn't just kind of the dark kind of, we'll call it creepy eerie feel to it, and but the vocals just kind of draw you in right away. And actually, I was talking with some fellow coworkers today, talking about music, and one thing I mentioned too, and it's good to see this, and what I said is just in general that the music scene is starting to be flooded with female singers again, which is a good thing, because let's face it, the female pop singers are a dime a dozen, but you don't get too many female vocalists in the rock music that really have that kind of influence and kind of like we'll call it raw power behind their voice, and that really sticks out. And Al is definitely one of them. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, for sure. There's I love. I think the first CD I ever bought was like a Portishead record, like the first Portishead CD, and it's got these amazing, big, powerful kind of female vocals on it, which at the same time are kind of fraught with fragility and emotion. And I love that. I mean, I adore that stuff. I mean, Ala's voice is fantastic. I mean, it's big, it's powerful, it's got it can be very sort of delicate and soft at the same time. So, the kind of that fits the emotional sort of spectrum of the music, really, really well and really nicely. But you're right. I mean, there seems to be a bit of is there a renaissance with the female singers? I don't know.
Well, it just personally for me, it just seems like no, they're here and there, but you don't hear too many females. We'll call it doing we'll call it the rock indie scene too much now. At least in the past little while, I've noticed they started to sound a little bit more, and it's nice to hear the diversity because it's like it's just one of those things, and the music scene kind of needs that. We'll call it special someone with a bit of a special extra voice, and this may be dating myself. But Dummy, the Portishead album, Dummy, was popular when I was in high school. So that tells you anything about my age.
Maybe mine.
Yeah.
But that's good. I mean, it's hard to find someone that's got that kind of vocal range and that kind of control and power. You find there's a lot of powerful singers out there, but they tend to be like sort of stage style. You know what I mean?
Right.
They all sound like they're doing West End kind of musical productions. You've got the kind of operatic kind of people, and that's great, but you can't kind of translate that into a alternative, straight indie type sound whatsoever, unless you go all kind of gothic on the whole thing. So, I mean, there's not too many people out there who can sing like that. It's the kind of, it's the sort of basics of it. I mean, I guess like a lot of, I guess without being too derogatory, I guess a lot of singers, just don't have that kind of talent or that range or power, or they just do something different, and the music kind of fits that. So the fact that we have this kind of vocalist that can sing like that means we can be a lot more kind of epic in our productions, and that's kind of given us a certain sort of sound where, chorus-wise in particular, we like to have these kind of very big, epic choruses. So I always want them to be like James Bond songs, or the songs with a zombie movie, and there's like a guy away from the zombies, and there's like one guy running across the field, and there's like 10,000 zombies, and that's the moment I want the chorus to be.
Oh, that's right.
That makes any sense at all.
And then he trips and falls, and they come closer, right? So.
And he just gets eaten.
Yeah, it's just the classic plot line to a zombie movie.
Yeah, precisely.
One thing I was gonna ask about too is the band kind of slowly came together over the past about 4 years or so, because it said that Ala joined you guys in 2012.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the drummer was 2011, I believe, if I remember my dates correctly.
No, he came a little bit after.
A little bit after that, okay.
That was our drummer, Phil. Yeah, we had another drummer previously, before we were kind of really playing gigs, so we just kind of played our first couple of gigs, and he left for one reason or another, and then we found Phil, who's an amazing drummer, and we're very lucky to have him. He's not listening, by the way. I don't know what I'm saying. He's standing behind me with a knife. I mean, it's so he kind of joined. The band kind of evolved, and you have kind of line up changes. But there was me, then there was Marco, then there was Ala, then there was Phil. It's kind of gone from there really. But every time we've been quite lucky to have. Ala's a professional musician, Phil's a professional musician. It's only me and Marco, which is the kind of scraping around the barrel. We know what we're doing, but we don't. But we're very fortunate to find good people to kind of play with. Makes it easier.
So with the band as it sits now, did you guys somewhat know each other from other bands first, or how did how the kind of the final ensemble come together?
No, it's all the magic of the internet that kind of put it all together. It was kind of easier because as I said, a lot of I had like 10 songs written before the band even existed beyond myself. So it makes it easier to go and find people because you can send them the songs. You don't have to kind of just meet at a bar and sort of talk about your favourite records for 3.5 months or something before having a jam or something like that. So that kind of made it easier. So there's a guy we met, Marco. I put some ads online, like looking for band members, here are the songs we've written. Who's interested in going to play some of this stuff live? So Marco came up first. We met in a pub. It was a very wonderful meeting. I remember it like it was yesterday. And it kind of went from there. Really, we found a singer, and then it all kind of like really kind of came together.
Oh, that's awesome here. Just because like it's one of those other things. It's always interesting to me how the bands come together because they don't always come together. We'll call it the quote unquote conventional way, where they were friends in high school or they're friends in school and college or what have you, and then they got together. And it just kind of sounded good, and but just finding people on the internet, it's happening more and more these days, and it's so much easier now because you're right because you can pass the music back and forth a lot easier. So it makes it a lot simpler for a person to make a decision whether no they want to give some thought or if they're going to say no what I'm going to pass.
Yeah, technically you don't even have to live in the same city to be in a band together. So if you want to play live, you can make music easily. But no, it's been cool. It's been good. It's we have a nice lineup. It's gone well.
Well, right on, man. I'm glad you got the final set together because, like I said, I've really enjoyed this EP front to back, and I've got a lot of good things to say about it, which I will be posting very soon, the next 4 days. I just had a lot on my plate, so I haven't been able to get the review out quite yet, but it will be out by the end of the week, so I promise you that. And I've got nothing but good things to say, and I'll be a lot more in depth than what I'm telling you about now. So, but one of the things is with this EP, obviously it took about a year, but when the songs finally started coming together, did you guys have an idea of the direction you want to go in as far as like the style and sound and like kind of arranging the songs in a certain order?
In a certain order.
Well, just meaning like how they flow, because it flows very nicely. It's more or less we'll call the way it flows.
Okay. Actually, yeah, it's a bit of a last minute change because Wrong was supposed to be the first song on the EP, and I made a last minute executive decision to make Winter Song the first song on the EP. I just thought it was like a nice introduction to the sound of the band, if you know what I mean. The sound, coming off the back of like what we did last time, which was kind of very atmospheric and basically just dripping everything with reverb. It's kind of basically what it's all about. Just sticking lots of delay and everything. I'm just giving away the secrets of the band. I think this time around we wanted the sound to be quite epic. But I think one of the band members wanted to call it EP-ic, which was we had to get away from that pretty quickly. And we went into this big thing with kind of soft moments and big moments with loud guitars and string parts and synthesizers and big drums and quiet drums and soft bits with guitars and, just kind of have this like really kind of big mix of emotions and feelings and atmospheres or sort of, musical kind of soundscapes. And of course, when you're doing it, so you can kind of indulge as well, because we haven't got a pan in 21 or anything like that. So, we can indulge with having 2-minute long string endings to songs and this kind of stuff, and no one cares because it's just us. So, from that point of view, it was great. I mean, it came together very nicely.
Well, you're right, and it's because it's got that deep melodic sound to it, but it's also got a kind of like I said, that eerie feel kind of feel to it, meaning like dropping the reverb down and just kind of really playing around quite a bit, which can make such good tunes, especially with the instruments you're playing with, because there's so much room to kind of move and create at the same moment. Because when you're playing around, especially with with the synthesizers, there's so much you can do now, and it can give that extra kind of like we'll call it oomph to the song, to kind of say, this is cool. So this is like really cool. It's like one of those ones you listen to. It's like it's almost one of those ones. Let's say this, for example, Winter Song, which we're gonna get to in a few minutes here, which is the first song in the EP. It's got that feel to it where, let's say, hypothetically speaking, it's like late at night, and then you go out. It's kind of dark, and you just kind of maybe looking over your shoulder a little bit, just because it kind of give you that kind of.
That's exactly the thing I want to happen.
And so, but at the same time too, it's one of those songs that it really sticks out. And the only other song I can think of that's made me do that, and it just happened perfect timing. It wasn't done on purpose. This was years ago. I was out for a walk, and I was listening to the song Black Sabbath with the opening. It's pouring rain and thundering. And just that heavy, just kind of like eerie guitar feels like. And you start looking around a little bit more.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. But yeah, I'm quite pleased that's invoked some sort of fear in you on some level.
Well, it's just one of those things, you know. It kind of just makes you feel a bit, just because the music is that kind of in depth and deep, and it's just like, no, this is cool, but just kind of makes your mind go wandering just a little bit.
Yeah, I like my music atmospheric and edgy and those kind of things. So, yeah, anything that's a kind of bit too plain or sounds a bit too, what's the word? You know, bit too normal.
Mainstream, maybe.
Yeah, mainstream doesn't really kind of work for me too well. So.
No, it's you know, it's got that edgy feel, but it's like I know I've heard this in like 5 different ways in the past like half hour on the radio, right? So. And you want it switched up for sure to make it sound uniquely and your own. So with that being said, we're gonna take a short break here and listen to the first track on the EP. This song is called Winter Song by the Mouth of Ghosts. Dig this.
If I can hold you anymore, I can stand the autumn wind. I knew how I would find the door, but now
All right, that was Winter Song by the Mouth of Ghosts off their brand new EP. All right, Simon, I did play this for the first time a few weeks back when Kim sent me the EP via email, and it's the first song I played. And right now, especially the winter we've had in Canada, it's been brutally cold, and there's been a lot of snow, so it couldn't have fit in any better because like we've been up and down. Finally, we're starting to get warmer, but for about 3-4 months straight, we've been sitting anywhere between -15 to -30 Celsius every day.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, I wish I was. No, it's been a brutally cold winter, and there has been no in between. It's either really cold or warm up a little bit, and it'll snow. So there hasn't really been a middle point. Now, it could come at any time. Winter can keep going. Like even it's been sometimes. Well, it's happened a few times, but in May, May 24th is our quote unquote May 24 weekend, so just a long weekend. And about 6-7 years ago it actually snowed in the middle of May.
No way. So it's the perfect song. We should tour Canada with it.
Yeah, you'll definitely make a mint selling that one for sure.
I'll book a plane tomorrow.
Yeah. So, like I said, this song in particular, I really liked, and obviously it being the first song in the EP, but it gives you a feel of what the band is like in general, like how you guys harmonize together, how you guys play together, and you just hear the power of Ala's voice, and that's what really kind of brings you in and makes you want to listen more because it kind of hooks you right away.
Hey, unfortunately, I can't hear you at all.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, sometimes, sorry, it would just cut out there for a second. What I was saying is this being the first song on the EP, it gives you a feel of what the band is like and the power and power behind Ala's voice and the way you guys play together and pretty much work together because it really stands out.
Yeah, it's got all the elements of one of our songs. It's got the quiet intro. It's got the soft verse vocals. It's got the kind of trippy drums. It's got the big chorus with Ala kind of belting it out on the vocals and the strings and everything. So yeah, I guess it's pretty indicative of one of our songs.
And the thing is too is like it being one of the longer songs on the EP, it just I guess the longest song in the EP. It's one of those things though. It's one of those things. It's hard to do sometimes to make the song sound good and go for that long. Not that 6.5 minutes is really long these days, but you still got to be able to keep the listener's interest.
Yeah. We kind of sort of debated it for a while about trying to make it. Obviously, when you come up with a song that's like 6.5 to 7 minutes long, you're not really going to get played on radio. And so we sort of toyed with kind of cutting it down a little bit, or cutting some sections out, or taking a verse out, or removing a chorus. But you know what? Every time we did that, the song just kind of sucked. So yeah, we just thought, hey, sod it. Let's leave it at 6.5, 7 minutes long, and it is what it is.
Absolutely.
So, but obviously, we won't be playing any mainstream radio stations anytime soon. Because everything needs to. We've done that with all the songs, I think, pretty much. I mean, even the ones that are that would be about 3 minutes, we've kind of got 45 seconds, very soft piano intros into them, just to kind of. It's just kind of our thing, really, right? It's just kind of what we do. So yeah, we're not too fussed about making 3 minute songs or 3.5 minute songs.
Oh no, I mean, and it's just the way that the song's written. I mean, no one's trying to hold anybody to a certain time frame. It's just something I noticed when I was listening to the EP and going through it. So I mean, it's what works best for the band, and obviously it's working for you guys. And many bands play nothing but long songs. Many bands play nothing but short songs. It's all in the dynamic and how the band presents itself. It doesn't, like I said, there's not necessarily any time restrictions.
Absolutely.
And that's what I appreciate is the people that have we'll say the guts to play around with it a little bit and see what they can do. And I mean, I'm glad you pointed out the fact that you tried to cut down and realize that it's just not sounding good, and that's a good thing. Just means that you're obviously dedicated to the music, but you know what you want to hear, and you know what sounds good and what doesn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was fun. We had I think we had a very sort of certain sound in our head. That kind of makes sense when we were doing it. I certainly had a very sort of, when I had the kind of 4 songs, then we had the kind of idea of how we wanted the whole thing to sound. I sort of, the kind of more ridiculously sort of overblown. I wanted to do more. Unfortunately, being an unsigned band and having to basically baby shit yourself means that you're sort of semi-restricted. But I'd had like a 32-piece orchestra in a room doing some bits if I could have done, and the kind of the bigger and sort of grander would have been as would have been great. But unfortunately, that wasn't possible. But maybe we'll go back and re-record it.
Yeah.
Symphonic orchestra or something. I can spend like a couple of months recording it rather than a couple of days.
Well, and that's right. I mean, just because orchestra or more pieces to the band doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to be that much better. It definitely add a different kind of edge to it, but it may not work the way you want it to, and it's not always the case because obviously, as we've seen, lots of bands have done it. Well, okay, I wouldn't say lots of bands, but there are some bands have done it, and some bands it's worked, and some bands, at least in my personal opinion, has turned out way too cheesy. And it's like, just because you're this band, you've done everything, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sound good. But I mean, that's just my own personal opinion because they're still selling millions of records, and I'm just sitting here in a studio. So,
how much fun were they having making those records? I bet they had the best time ever.
Well, yeah, because there's so much money people to work with. But with more people, does that possibly pose more problems as far as maybe some butting of heads, despite the fact you're kind of giving the orchestra this is the way it needs to sound, so you guys play it this way, right?
Yeah, I'd still like to do it. I'd still be fun. I'd quite like to. I'd like to have the opportunity anyway to experiment with it or something like that. But yeah, I think we could have made it kind of bigger. You know what I mean?
Well, man. It's still fresh, there's still a time that it might happen someday. You never know. Anything can happen.
30 years time, we'll go back and re-record it or something.
All right, we're gonna move into one more song here in a second, and there is a video for this out right now. The song is called "Wrong," and I actually just watched it the other day, and it was very intrigued to say the least about it, just because it's fun. It's a lot more fun to see the indie unsigned videos than it is to see all the mainstream ones, because there's not a huge budget. They gotta kind of work it a lot harder to kind of squeeze it in to get it within what their finances are to make it work. So
actually, we were really lucky. We actually managed to get quite a well-known music video guy to make it for us. And yeah, he's worked on really big bands. He's done like Placebo and Skunk and Nancy, and lots of bands that people will actually have heard of. So we managed to kind of persuade him to do it just really quickly for us. So we did it it was shot in one evening in a photography studio in a place in London, and yeah, that was it really. It was just very quick. Although he has cut out my face out of all of the video, which I need to talk to him about. Decision or something like that, but yeah, he kept the girls in and just basically got rid of the boys.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we were lucky. Again, you're right. We had to do relative on a budget, relatively cheaply. But yeah, so we got this kind of nice video. I like it. I like the black ball that kind of flies around Alice's face.
Yeah.
I like it when it explodes.
That in itself was kind of a trip in itself, just floating around with that. Kind of almost makes you focus solely on that for a little bit,
Exactly.
But you know what? Like I said, sometimes the most low budget videos are over majority of the times are the best one. And for example, before we get into Wrong here, this is going back a little bit, but White Zombie's album Thunder Kiss 65, not Black Sunshine, but oh my god, Thunder Kiss 65. Anyways, the song Thunder Kiss 65, they had I think it was like a $2,000 budget on that video, and they did wonders with it, and I heard them talk about it. What a pain it was because they're like, no, we had to share like 3 pizzas between like 10 people, and like we're at the hot desert. But no, look at the end result.
I saw Rob Zombie in London, like, whenever it was, maybe a year ago, something like that.
Right.
And trust me, he had more than the $2,000 budget.
Oh yeah.
The guy had like 50-foot robots coming onto stage and spitting fire into the crowd. It was crazy.
You know that's what I saw when I saw him years ago when Hillbilly Deluxe came out.
Okay.
And yeah, it's crazy. And man, for a 40-something-year-old man that stands only about maybe 5'5" with heavy leather boots and leather jacket, can stomp around on stage like that, man, more power to the guy because he can move.
He owns it. He totally owns that stage. But yeah, it was cool. So, but yeah, the videos. I mean, like the last video that we did, when the sunsets was done on my iPhone, and it was edited in iMovie, so it was done completely for free, just with some lights and a fan, and yeah, that was it. We made it for like I think it cost about £5 to make it.
Oh my god, that I mean that.
That's super low budget. That's micro budget.
Oh man, that's impressive. So without further ado, let's get into wrong here. This is the Mouth of Ghosts. Wrong. The Mouth of Ghost. Wrong. Now, that is a cool song with a very hard finish.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of a drum and bassy kind of thing at the end. I don't think it quite turned out like that, but I like it.
You know what? I absolutely love like the synth slash keyboard in this because I just love that. It's got that kind of high pitched kind of like eerie melody to it.
Yeah, it's the eeriness, right? It's kind of, yeah, I get you on that one. It's a little bit horrible.
So it's yeah, I mean, it's cool though. I mean, I like the way it's incorporated because like it may be a little horror film, but it's not like a rip off of a horror tune from a movie, right? So.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
No. I was saying no. I was saying that like that. I was saying it wasn't. Period. I wasn't questioning you on it. So sorry, I phrased that wrong. My mistake. So. So yeah, that was phrased wrong. I apologize. Like I know it's not ripped off. I'm saying never mind. You know what I meant with that one. So, pretty much last question I got for you, Simon, is since we're using a form of it, how has the social media worked for you, like i.e. Twitter, SoundCloud, Facebook, that sort of thing?
I mean, there's so many, right? It's kind of difficult to have them all. Like, it took me a long time to get into Twitter. I still don't think I get it completely. But yeah, I mean, Twitter's good. We use Facebook. I mean, Facebook obviously have kind of made things like very, very difficult for sort of up and coming bands or people that kind of want to put something out there with the way they've kind of changed their business model means, you know, if you have 2,000 fans, you can only ever talk to like 200 of them unless you want to pay £50 each time.
Right.
So that's kind of, it's difficult actually. I mean, social media is kind of good, but there doesn't really seem to be kind of one medium out there for like, you know, when I think about MySpace, for example, which is obviously now is completely dead and buried, but for a little period of time, it was like the place to go if you want to hear some music.
No, yeah.
And there isn't really, you know, I think even though ultimately it was just kind of like bands trying to sell their music to other bands, I think the problem you get on a lot of the sort of music social media is you just kind of talk to other bands who want to sell their music, and there's just other bands there. So yeah, it's kind of hard at the moment to kind of, you know, find, have a kind of channel kind of way to kind of talk to your crowd or sort of build a fan base. So you end up kind of spreading yourself around 5, 6, 7 different places.
Right.
You know, which can be hard to kind of know, you know, where to put your focus. But yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, the thing with music, it's just kind of difficult. I mean, in the current times, it's kind of difficult to, you know, penetrate anything really. I mean, the appetite for it doesn't be there so much right now.
Fair enough. Anyways,
I can talk about that for hours.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Simon, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this show today. It's been a lot of fun. Like I said, the EP is awesome. You guys can pick that up on Bandcamp, on their Bandcamp right now. So, like I said, Simon, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely, and I'll love to do it again. So when you guys get another album or EP out, definitely let me know. We'll hook you back up.
I'll be in touch.
All right, thanks a lot, Simon. Appreciate it.
See you, man.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was Simon from the Mouth of Ghosts. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this interview. It was a good time. So until next time, thanks so much for listening. Bones out.